Way back in Kerry, in a little town, there was an old couple. They thought they would never have children, but God smiled on them, with a whimsical smile, I might add. And they had a lovely young boy, and they named him Seamus, James. And of course he was known around and about as Jimiene. Now as the lad grew older, he became a bit of a problem, for he was a bit light-fingered. 'Twas said by a couple of people, Jimiene, he'd steal anything that wasn't nailed down. Sure, if it was nailed down, he'd steal it anyway, and the nails as well. What are we to do with this boy? Said his mother. Oh, the lad, he can't stop himself from the stealing. He's no good for work. He won't do a lick of work. But stealing, says the father, we got to do something with the boy. What are we going to do? I know, says the mother. We'll put him off with the Gadi Dubh. Now the Gadi Dubh, the black thief, was known to be the greatest thief in all of Ireland. 'Twas said he could steal the pepper out of the Pope's soup. Well, one morning the Gadi Dubh was getting out of his bed, sat there, lit his pipe for the morning smoke, and was looking out his window, when down the road leading up to his house he saw two men coming. Sure, it was Jimiene and his father. When he went to the door, the father said to him, I have this lad of mine, he's no good for work or anything else but stealing. We thought we would apprentice this lad to you, said the father. He's no good for work at all, but we thought maybe you could make a good thief out of him, and he would amount to something after all. Well, said the Gadi Dubh, I'll take him on now, but I have to warn you. After his apprenticeship, I will put him to the test, and if he can't pass the test, I will have to shoot him, for he will know too many of my tricks. Sure, it's that or be hanged, isn't it, said the father. He's all yours. The Gadi Dubh gave him £5 as a deposit, so to speak, and off the father went, and Jimiene stayed there to learn the tricks of the trade of thievery. He learned how to disguise himself. He learned how to climb into places that you would never think a person could climb into. He learned how to change his voice though he would sound like someone else. He learned how to hide in the shadows. He learned all the tricks of the trade, until finally, after the years had passed, he was called into the parlour by the Gadi Dubh. Well, Jimiene, says he, I have taught you all I can teach you now. 'Tis your turn to show me what you've learned. I'll give you 3 tests. Here is the first one of them. You know that little cabin down by the crossroads? There is an old couple lives there. I want you to go down there and steal the blanket off their bed. But mind you, I have told them you are coming, and the old fellow has a gun. If he catches you, he'll plug you. Now I want that blanket by the morning. Off you go. Well, Jimiene strode out into the courtyard. He walked back and forth and back, thinking about the way he would handle the situation. He went down to the churchyard where there had been a fresh burial that morning, and he dug up the corpse. He got himself a ladder and he went down to the crossroads after dark, climbed up onto the roof, and he began to stuff the corpse down the chimney. Well, down below, the old fella and his wife, they heard it. It's that man the Gadi Dubh told us about. He's coming in now. Get yourself ready, says the old lady. I'm ready with this pistol, says he. Oh, and down came the corpse with a thump. The old fellow let go into the fireplace with the gun. Plow! He went over and examined the corpse. Oh, by Jesus, I've killed the man. I've killed him now. What am I to do? Oh, Jabers, I've killed the poor man. There's only one thing to do, is hide the body. I'll take it with me and bury it in the bog. No one will ever find it. the old fella grabbed up the body from the floor and took it out. Well, that was the moment that Jimiene was waiting for. He gave a bit of time to pass, and then he imitated the old fella's voice. "I'm back now," says he, "and I'm cold as the divil. Get that bed ready for me now." And he climbed into bed with the old woman. "Oh, but jabbers, I'm cold as the divil's sides. Oh, no, oh." And he rolled over and he gathered the rest of the blanket around him. "Oh, jabbers," says he, "and now I've got myself as well. I'm all frightened with this. I'll have to go out. I'll be back in a moment, Mary," says he. Out the door he went with the blanket wrapped around him. And she sat there waiting for him to finish his business out in the behind room. But of course he never showed up. And there in the morning was Jimiene with the blanket to give to the Gardaí Dubh. "Well, you've passed your first test," said the Gardaí Dubh. "But here is the second one now. You know that field just beyond that place? In the morning there will be a fella out there to plough the field. He'll have a lovely pair of horses in his plough. I want you to steal those 2 horses from him. But mind you, I have told him you are coming, and your man has a gun. But I want to see you with them 2 horses come the morning. Off with you now." Well, Jimiene went out into the courtyard and he began to pace forth and back and forth. And he come up with an idea. He went out and he found himself a rabbit's warren. He dug and got the rabbit and her kits, and off he went. Sure enough, there was the man at the plough. Jimiene stayed behind a shrub and let loose one of the rabbit kits. It ran across the field. The farmer saw it. "Be damned," says he, "you and your little kind, you'll be after me own crops in the morning. Take that," and he ploughed off a shot at the rabbit. Jimiene let loose another rabbit. "Divil take you," says he, "I'll catch you yet." He fired another shot at the rabbit. Jimiene let loose another rabbit. "Big God," says the old fellow, "I'll catch you yet." And he went chasing off after the rabbits and left the horses there. Sure enough, there was Jimiene the next day with the 2 horses to show to the Gardaí Dubh. "Well," said the Gardaí Dubh, "you've done a grand job so far. But here is your final test. There is the fair in Kilorglin in the morning. I will go down there myself, and I am going to buy a grand-looking goat and bring it back here. And 'tis your job to steal that goat from me. But mind you, I know you are coming, and I will have a gun. If I catch you, I will plug you myself, and that'll be an end of it. So off with you now, and I want you to show up in the morning with that goat." Well, Jimiene was in a pucker now. He went forth and back. He went back and forth. He went forth and back again, and back and forth again. But he come up with a plan. He went down early in the morning when they were just setting up the fair. The booths were being set up, and he found himself a booth where they were selling boots. In that booth there was a pair of beautiful black knee-high boots, all patent leather and shining like the sun was glistening off them. He nipped in and he puckered those 2 boots for himself, and down the road he went. Well, later on, there was the Gardaí Dubh, buying himself a lovely puck goat, and down the road he went with it. As he went down the road to his place, didn't he come in the road to a place where he found, lying in the middle of the road, a beautiful black boot? "Begad," says he to himself, "that is a lovely creature there. If only there was 2 of them. What a dirty shame this is." Off he went further down the road. When he come to a bend in the road and around it, what did he see there but the second boot? "Divil take me," says he, "I should have gathered up that first boot when I saw it." He tied this boot to the horn of the goat, and down the road he went back to catch up with that first boot. When he brought it back, there the goat was gone, but he had the second boot. I'm not about to be fooled by that little scallion, says he. He went back and he bought himself a second goat. Back he comes with the 2 boots and the tied over the horns of his second goat. When he got to that spot in the road, what did he hear off in the distance? Meh, 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 meh. Devil take me, he wasn't stolen after all. He ran off into the thickets. He tied those 2 boots around the horn of the goat, and off he went to find that other goat. He was scrummaging around, thrashing through the brush, but never a goat did he find. When he come back, the first goat had gone too. He made his way back to his place, and sure enough, there was Jimiene sitting on the doorstep with 2 goats and wearing a lovely pair of boots. And from that time on, Jimiene was known as the greatest thief in all of Ireland.